Hi, my name is Mark. I'm an ER nurse in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And I want to talk to you guys today about dehydration. It's something that I see on a regular basis, more so in the elderly and in our youth, and more so in the summer months. But I have noticed that it is an increasing problem. It drew in my curiosity. It's a medical issue, but it's also a societal issue. It's one that's chronic in nature and continues to persist, I feel, due to public knowledge deficit. I think a lot of people don't realize they're walking around dehydrated. I also think it's a byproduct of our consumer-based lifestyle. I feel like as an American, we are typically on the go. We typically choose foods that are high in flavor, and they may not always be high in nutrition. They may not even be good for us. And a recent study found that an estimated 75% of Americans are chronically dehydrated, and that's that one study. Sales in sodas surpassing those of water, most Americans are choosing to live in a constant state of thirst, whether they realize it or not. But why? That's a good question. Our bodies are comprised mostly of water. It's about 60%, with our muscles being roughly 75%, and our brains being roughly 85% of water. So it's difficult to imagine why someone would deliberately choose to live in a constant state of dehydration. I know from personal experience, up until I started doing this research, I was not even drinking enough water. And I am in the healthcare industry. And I should be a good example of what health is. And even with my training and with my profession, I was not drinking enough water. As an ER nurse, I see the effects of dehydration on a daily basis. Some patients are easily resuscitated and sent home, and by resuscitated I mean fluid resuscitation, where we would draw your blood and determine that you do need fluids, and so we would give you the adequate amount of water to get you back to a homeostatic balance. Other patients sometimes have to spend time in the ICU in an attempt to recover, and some survive and some do not. But the reason why I wanted to discuss dehydration was because as an ER nurse, it gives me medical training and nutritional education, and as well as, like I've said, my personal insight to take care of patients that are dehydrated. But I feel like if we knew more about it and talked about it more openly, that we could improve as a society. With an estimated 75% of Americans living in some state of dehydration, chances are you are one of those people. I was. I aim to not only educate you, but to inspire you to drink more water, and to also spread the word that water is just as necessary as breathing or eating. Dehydration over time can kill you. Today we will learn about dehydration, how much water is appropriate for the average American, and what you can do to develop a good habit like drinking water on a daily basis, and how we can improve our overall approach to drinking water. Just some people don't like the idea of drinking water. I've talked to many patients at work and they've told me, I don't drink water because I don't like how it tastes. So let's get down to the basics. For men, it's approximately 3.7 liters of water for an American male, and it's 2.7 liters daily for an American female. When the body is hydrated, vitamins and minerals are readily utilized. Waste can be removed, protein synthesis is enabled, and rebuilding during sleep is optimized. Without enough water, cell size will diminish, processes will slow, and sometimes even pause. Waste then will accumulate, cellular waste. Disease will be more likely to develop, or if you are already suffering from disease, it will worsen. It is tempting as an ER nurse to try and complete one more task and then one more task and one more task. when you're at work. It's very, very tempting because when you're getting ambulances in moment by moment, you already have critical patients that you're responsible for. Task prioritization is paramount. And one of those tasks that a good nurse will incorporate into their priorities is going to be taking care of themselves so they can take care of their patients. And staying hydrated is crucial. And it's something that I did not used to fully appreciate. And by the end of a shift or by the end of the afternoon, even, my energy levels would diminish. And that's typically when I would drink coffee, which actually further dehydrated me. It was really before I gave water its due priority in my priority list. And so by doing this research, by using articles that I've found that published by the CDC and countless websites, it was fairly across the board common knowledge that fruits and vegetables are our main sources of water through food intake. But really, there's no substitution for drinking that 3.7 liters of water as a male, and as a female, drinking that 2.7 liters of water daily. One website that I found that published articles and information from the CDC was medicaldaily.com. A fantastic article that took information from the CDC and from different universities and really put it all on one website for people to browse through and familiarize themselves with how much water is enough, what is appropriate foods to eat during the day. It's kind of the same old thing, eat your fruits, eat your vegetables. There's more than one reason to do so. And I found two articles written by the same author, Gibson, that discussed hydration and nutrition and how they play roles with each other. Even if we're eating all these wonderful foods, if we're not getting enough water, our body can't utilize the vitamins, the minerals, the proteins, all those things. Water is the transport system inside our body, and without it, without enough of it, all the good things that we eat, we cannot use. So foods to avoid would be, number one, caffeine. If you're not drinking enough water, you want to avoid caffeine, and that's something that as a medical professional I was not doing. And another thing you want to avoid is alcohol. And that's something that Gibson really stressed, was that caffeine and alcohol, even in moderate amounts, diminish the amount of water, the overall water that we're intaking. For the 3.7 liters of water that you're supposed to take in every day, you want to subtract from that how much alcohol or caffeine. You would have to actually add more water in to compensate for the caffeine or the alcohol that we're intaking. So as an ERRN, I do deal with dehydration daily. And in order to develop a healthy diet, you're going to have to commit and be honest with yourself. If you do decide you want to up your water intake to an adequate amount, it is going to help fight muscle catabolism or muscle breakdown, which is going to improve your overall health and also your overall appearance. It's going to give you more self-confidence in the long run. And honestly, before sodas and drink alternatives were available in this country, we lived on water. I mean, all the way back to biblical times, you really had very few drink alternatives besides water. So I hope to encourage people to drink an adequate amount of water. I hope that I've convinced you today that if you're an American male, you need to be getting in at least 3.7 liters of water a day. And if you're an American female, try to get in at least 2.7 liters of water a day. And that is also for the average. So if you're active, you need to up your intake. And I hope that with that water, you're getting enough rest so your body can do something with it. And I hope you have a blessed day. Thank you for listening.